Welcome back to your favorite podcast, the Combat Sports Report podcast. I'm your host, Alan, with the coast host, either up down there or up there, wherever he is, Mr. Simkai.
Oh,
Crazy, crazy, crazy week so far we've had.
mm,
I was at UFC 316 live. Trump pulled up. Insane. We should talk about the recap first and then go into the upcoming stuff, yeah?
yeah.
All right, so let's get right into it, dude. It was the wildest experience I've ever had, to be honest with you. Uh, I
What
think
was
12
that?
fights, six finishes. What was your favorite?
Oh. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of like that Josh Van knockout, bro. I mean, for me, that was pretty good. I mean, obviously we had the two championship main event finishes with Kayla Harrison subbing Juliana Pena, and then we also had Merab subbing Sean O'Malley.
Super unexpected. Marab's second finish in the UFC.
Yeah, and he subbed Sean O'Malley out of all people.
Hmm.
Fucking crazy, bro.
With a north-south choke. That's a really hard choke to hit. Really hard.
And
And
he
he did
got
it.
Merab is the champion for a reason, and he's now celebrating in Georgia.
He's the number two pound for pound fighter in the world right now. He replaced John Jones. He's above John Jones in the pound for pound rankings.
Wow,
John Jones is number three now. You
that's
think
crazy.
that's deserved?
Yeah, because I'm gonna be honest, John Jones has been getting on my nerves a little bit. Like he's been kind of flaky, not really giving us an answer if he's coming back or not. I don't know if you saw, but apparently like a bunch of people on social media
Mhm.
that on June 6th they're gonna do like a mass unfollowing of him. I don't know if that actually panned out, but like that's how upset people were at John Jones. That like they felt like
He's holding up the entire heavyweight division. There's no movement at all. What's
yeah.
the last big, important heavyweight fight that you remember?
Besides Stipe and Jones, I feel like it was Aspinall and Blades. I mean, and, yeah, I can't really think of like a top contender tilt. I mean, maybe Pavlovich. No, maybe Gane and Volkov, but that
That
wasn't.
was when, like November already,
Yeah,
no?
like it's bad. I think they should strip John Jones. I mean,
If they don't strip John Jones, they lose credibility. I don't think anybody gives a fuck about how good John Jones is anymore. They just want to see heavyweight fights
yeah,
and like just
Tom Aspinall
release.
champion in my opinion.
Exactly. Dude, I would be more upset if they I'd be more upset if they didn't strip John Jones than if John Jones like retired.
Yeah,
Honestly.
yeah,
I'm totally fine with John Jones retiring because that opens up the heavyweight division. What I'm not fine with is John just sitting there and not taking any fights. Either
yeah.
fight or move on. Like you're a great champion for sure, but you already got a guy in Tom Aspinall who's he got an interim title, which guarantees you the next fight. Then they gave the title fight to Stipe over him,
That was,
which was stupid in my opinion.
was
And
just easy
then
money for Jones. Like,
exactly, bro, Stipe was 42, and even then Stipe was landing some shots. And then Aspinall defends his interim belt. I think that's the second or third time in UFC history that's happened. He defends his belt and gets a first round knockout, and he still can't fight for the heavyweight belt. I
listen,
don't fucking understand this. And honestly, I'm right there with you. It pisses me off.
honestly, let's just get to these other fights because John Jones, I'm gonna be honest, we shouldn't even be giving him spotlight right now. It's just adding to the fuel of him wasting everyone's time, to be honest. So,
Last thing before we move off this topic. In the post-fight press conference, one of the reporters for 316, one of the reporters asked there's like apparently a mass there's like a petition online to strip John Jones, and it got over 100,000 signatures, and Dana kind of just laughed it off. But if you get 100,000 people to sign anything, that's big.
Dana needs to fucking do something about it instead of laughing it off. I mean, he's just postponing every. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. He's too much on the John Jones hype train. I don't know. It's just let's just get to these fights on the.
Yeah,
I mean, we got
yeah,
the main. We talked about the main events. Very good finishes against tough opponents.
yeah, dude. Marab is the best bantamweight of all time, of
Yeah,
all time. There's no question about it anymore.
yeah, no question. I agree. But
Who
dude,
do you even like put close to him?
one
Sterling?
point. But no, 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 Alan. I want to give our boy who fought this weekend some credit. I mean, obviously, as you folks know, on our last podcast, we had, well, we had two people on our last interviews, but one of them, Mike Aswell, who's a new UFC fighter, his teammate Joshua Van, the number 14 ranked at the time flyweight, got a really good knockout over the number 12 ranked flyweight Bruno Silva, and now
Which I got a sick video of in person.
he did get that.
Dude, I got Mike Tyson shaking hands with Marco Rubio. Then I panned over and got the knockout. What a fucking crazy. That's probably the best video I've ever taken in my life. Electric.
But Alan, you know what news got us hyped though? Josh
Tell him.
ranked number 10. And folks, I don't know if you heard, but for UFC 317, Manel Kopp was supposed to fight Brandon Royval, the number one contender. Kopp pulled out, and Joshua Van is in. Joshua Van is fighting the number one flyweight in the world.
Think about this. In a span of 2 months, he could go from number 14 to number one contender.
Yes. And if yeah, Joshua
In the
Van
span of 2 months.
and yeah, Josh Van's a killer. I mean, I think after his last performance, this is two pay-per-views in a row, and he's going to be on the well, he was the prelim feature for the last card, but he's going to be on the main card now. I believe it's the opener or no?
I think it's the featured fight before the title fight.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's
Or how many title fights are there? One or two?
two.
So
Pantoja, Cara France, and then Ilya and Charles Oliveira.
yeah, so he's gonna be third to last. I think he's right before Pantoja.
Yeah, and then we also got Costa versus Kopylov and some other great fights.
Yeah,
We'll get to that in a later video. But yeah, Joshua Van had an amazing performance. Also, another person who also had an amazing performance was Azamat Murkandov.
bro. Murzakanov is one of the best fucking light heavyweights. He's the dark horse of that division.
Yeah,
It was like watching a surgeon like with a scalpel. He so
yeah,
methodically he dropped him 3 times. On the third time, he shut his lights out. He was like,
yeah,
"Oh, sorry about that, bud." It was just so methodical and so beautiful
yeah, dude, that was a
to
great.
th Yeah. I was sitting in the same row as somebody who bet $10,000 on Brenderson Ribeiro. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? They're like, oh, Brenderson Ribeiro, he's good. He's got a chance to knock him out. I was like, all right, your money.
What drugs was that guy on?
A lot
But
of drinks. $10,000 fucking lobbed out the window.
also, Alan, I mean, Kevin Holland with that slick sub over Vicente Luque. I mean, our boy's back in the rankings. I honestly think he should get a big fight after that. It was an
I
amazing.
agree.
Uh, Shout out to Kevin Holland. And then there's two fights that before we go on to our card upcoming that I want to go.
Hold up real quick. I just on that Kevin Holland fight. A little bit bittersweet because now Vicente Luque is no longer in the rankings.
And he's probably
Um,
he's on a really bad skid, so I don't think he's.
yeah, well, he beat
Oh no,
Themba
he
Gorimbo.
yeah,
He beat
that's
Themba Gorimbo. He finished him in the first minute of the first round,
yeah. So
and
he might.
then he got submitted with the same fucking choke. Ironically enough, he darsed Themba Gorimbo, and Kevin Holland darsed him.
Yeah. And but now I'm gonna have to speak about two fights that our friend, our co-host Alan Gittleman is not happy about. So
Oh,
our first one is that Patchy Mix's debut was absolutely spoiled. I'm sorry to say it, Alan, but Patchy Mix, very disappointing performance. Obviously had the superior ground game, decided to try to strike for some odd reason with Mario Bautista, who completely outclassed Patchy Mix on the feet.
I'm gonna say this. It looked a lot different on TV than it did in real life. In real life, it was a boring ass fight and not a lot was happening, and it didn't look like a lot landed. On TV, it looked like Batista fucking dominated him, but that's not what happened. They were striking at a distance, and it honestly, I had it 29-28, Batista. I gave the third round to Patchy Mix. Although he did look like shit in that fight, he was chasing Batista down, and Batista was on the back foot. Yeah, he landed a couple jabs here and there. Bro, it was just a bad fight altogether. It was
Yeah,
a
it was
boring fight. It was a fight in which Patchy Mix shot one time. I don't understand why he tried to stand and knock him out.
exactly.
You are, bro, you're a submission specialist. You have 20 wins, okay? And you have 15, 16 finishes. 15, 15 or 16 finishes. 13 of them are by submission. And you don't hunt the submission at all? What the fuck is wrong with you? What are you doing?
He was a very disappointing performance from Patchy. I expected a lot better from him in that fight. I expected him to honestly get a finish.
Yeah.
So very
He's
disappointing.
that's the thing. He's capable of putting Mario Batista away easily. It's just his game plan was dog shit. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I think he might have just been psyched out by the fact that he was making his UFC debut. Maybe it's just the bright lights got to him. But like
I don't know.
Patchy is so much better than that. I really hope we see him come back and just
Yeah.
get a good Patchy mixed performance. Because on the ground, he's a monster. He's just he didn't take it there.
Yeah. Nah, he didn't. And then another disappointing performance that I think this actually pissed you off more. Waldo Cortez Acosta won the fight versus Sergey. So you're seeing Alan right there. He's starting to fume. He got really mad because
Okay, let me
take us
immediately
around.
fucking let me let me fucking immediately go at this. Okay, we were all watching the fight and we were like, this is a no-brainer. It's so easy to see who won. Round three, Spivak picks up Waldo Cortez Acosta. Waldo Cortez Acosta grabs the top of the cage to not get taken down. Still gets taken down. Okay, that's a point. That's a point deduction. Very, at the very least. Okay. Round one, he was basically dropped. That's two, but that's 2 rounds out of three that you immediately give to Spivak. Round two, 50-50. Okay, maybe you give Waldo a round two. When the judges said 30-27, I was walking to the bathroom because I was like, all right, whatever, Spivak won. This is a no-brainer. They say 30-27, 29-28, and 29-28 by unanimous decision. All three retards those three retards were the only three retards in the fucking arena that thought that Waldo won. Those three retards just so happened to be sitting in the judges fucking whatever. Oh my God, bro. I was walking to get some food or to go to the bathroom or whatever because I was like, this is obvious who won. I heard 30-27. I was like, yeah, bro, my parlay is good. Fucking all my money is safe. Yeah, what's it called? Spivak got it done. I hear Waldo Cortez Acosta, the loudest roar of boos I've ever heard in my life. I heard Dominicans booing. People
Yeah.
with the Dominican flag were booing their own boy. I was disgusted. Worst robbery I have ever seen live, for sure. Potentially the worst robbery I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
Disgusting.
that was pretty bad. I also had the same thoughts as Alan. I thought it was pretty clear who won that fight. I
It was
did
egregious.
I did tell Alan though, and he did think it was kind of funny, guys, is that I put a $5 bet on Cortez Acosta for shits and giggles, and I won 20 bucks.
Good for you, honestly. That's Vegas for you.
Yeah, but Alan, the last fight I definitely want to cover before we move on is holy fuck, Ju Sung Yu. Wow. Wow.
Holy bro.
Wow.
Talk about that's what Patchy Mix wanted. I think Jusong Yu just stole all of his energy. I think that's what happened, bro. Jusong Yu sees Jekka Saragi going in, hands down, trying to swing. He's like, huh, steps off to the side. little check left hook, and it
Guys,
wasn't
face
fast.
plant.
It was powerful. And you know why it knocked him out? If it just landed normally, it would not have knocked him out. Only knocked him out because Jekka chose to run and crash into Jusung Yu like that. Jekka knocked himself out on Jusung Yu's fist.
Yeah, I mean, but still, it was incredible to see.
Oh my God, dude.
And I don't know if everyone knows, but Ju Song Yu is a pupil of the Korean Zombie, and he is in the featherweight division. So he has
Hmm.
a lot of good mentorship behind him. And he made a bold claim at the end of that fight. He said, I'm gonna bring the belt back to Korea for Korean Zombie. So,
Yeah.
guys, this is a guy to look out for. I mean,
His nickname is Zombie Jr.
yeah, Zombie Jr. I think
And for good reason, bro.
Zombie Jr. should get like maybe someone who's kind of a watchdog on the rankings, like Andre Fili or someone else. I think he should get a big name, and if he knocks that person out, top 15, top 15.
Maybe Calvin Cater.
Yeah, maybe Calvin. No, Calvin Cater is already booked, I believe.
Is he? Who's he fighting?
I forgot, but I know he's fighting someone. I don't remember who though. But he's booked. Yeah. So gotta look out for Ju Sung Yu. Overall,
Mhm.
great card of finishes. 6 finishes on the card. Very spectacular. And Alan is seeming to try try to
This
figure out
man
camera angle.
bright behind me.
But yeah, guys, it was a great pay-per-view. I don't know if everyone knows, but actually, we're getting another pay-per-view in about 16 days from now. So
Yeah. So
we're
far.
almost 2 weeks
Oh,
away from.
wait. Before we move on from this card, couple things. First of all, for my money, I don't know. Do you know what got fight of the night?
I kind of want to see that now.
For
Hold on.
my money, it was Yanala Shmuz versus Quillen Salkill. That fight was fucking incredible. The pace, the wrestling, and bro, the fact that Yanala Shmuz was at such a reach disadvantage, yet still
There was no fight of the.
landed, huh?
It wasn't a fight of the night, actually. They didn't give one.
Egregious, egregious. That was such a good fight, such a fun fight to watch. So fucking high pace, and shout out to both of those fighters. They really put it all on the line. Um, Also, oh, you know what else was a good fight? Uh, Mark Choinsky versus Medeiros.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful fight. I think that fight should have been stopped in like the third round with the leg kicks. The leg kicks were tremendous. Did you see when Medeiros stomped on the welt that Mark had on his calf?
Yeah.
He stomped on it. Fucking savage, bro. That fight was an incredible first fight of the night.
No, yeah.
Couple of what?
No, I said I agree.
Yeah. Couple of other things I really want to quickly just say. I saw Dylan Dennis there. I said what's up to Dylan Dennis and he signed a glove for me. People were clowning on me. They were like, "Oh, why'd you get a Dylan Dennis signed glove? It's worse than getting a signed glove." Fuck you to those people. I got a
Yeah.
Dylan Dennis signed glove. Y'all don't. Suck my dick. I don't really care. He was, I'll be honest, he was mad chill in person. He was like a real down to earth guy. He was like, "Yo, I'm sorry, I don't got that much time to talk, but I appreciate the support." He was like nice, you know? He plays a character on TV just like Colby Covington, but at the end of the day, he's just trying to get his bag. And I can't I respect that, you know? I
Yeah.
respect it. He's a good fighter. He had a draw against Gordon Ryan back when Gordon Ryan, I think, was a brown belt or just got his black belt. You know, so he has his own accolades to speak of. People like to shit on him, and I just you know, he's not he's a decent guy. He's a decent
Yeah.
guy. Took the time to sign a glove for me. And so shout out to Dylan Dennis.
Yeah.
And
But
also, last thing. Trump walked in right before, or sorry,
awesome.
right after, I think he walked in right after the Josh Van fight. I have never in my life felt such energy. And I know people say this, and I know people are like, oh, whatever, you're just talking out of your ass. The ground shook. My seat was shaking. It felt like I was in a massage chair. It was the loudest noise I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Everybody was on their feet. Everybody was screaming. Holy fuck, dude. That was like, I felt like I just got injected with speed. Like, that was incredible, bro. Incredible moment. One of the best live events I've ever been to. If you guys ever go to a UFC event, try to go to one on the Eastern Seaboard, like on the East Coast, and try to go to one. Try to sit close to the octagon. If you sit far away, you're going to be watching everything on the TV anyway. Try to get a seat close to the octagon. I know it's going to be more expensive, but the more expensive seats are more than worth it if you can afford it. So just
Yeah.
that.
Well, that's it for our PPV as Alan was first witness. It was a great event, a lot going on, amazing stuff. So, quickly, before we get into the upcoming UFC card, we're going to go over a couple of things, a few other events that are going on this weekend. Well, first, actually, Alan, I believe I want to announce this because it was actually pretty cool that they announced this, but the UFC is now creating a BJJ organization. And much like Power Slap and and UFC originally, they're doing a road to the title, and there's going to be two coaches, and one of the coaches is Mikey Musumeci. I don't know who the other one is, but Alan probably knows more on that. Uh,
I'm going to be honest, I'm not too familiar with the other coach,
but
but they're
still,
both multiple time world champions in jiu-jitsu. So
yes.
a lot of respect to both of them. They're obviously top level competitors. Otherwise, UFC would not have them. And did you see some of the guys that are in this season?
Yeah.
Dude, some of them are really, really, really big fucking names. You have Andy Varela. You have, I'm not sure if it's both of the Tackett brothers or just Andrew, but Andrew Tackett is in there. You got some crazy dudes. You got Keith Krikorian in there. You got some really high level jiu-jitsu athletes. And they created a whole new like pit almost, a whole new layout for jujitsu to happen. And it looks like the rule sets, I don't know what the rule set is, but looks like the rule set really rewards takedowns and like being aggressive, which I really like.
Yeah. No, it's definitely, I don't know, man. It just seems so fucking awesome. I don't really have a lot of words for it. And
Yeah.
also, I have food in my mouth. But
Yeah, I was about to say it's hard to have words for this shit when your mouth is full.
no, but that's not what I mean. Like honestly, like Alan, I'm super hyped for this. I think it has a lot of potential to be good. Uh, I think it's also going to bring a lot more eyes to the UFC Fight Pass Invitationals. I think those are about to get a lot bigger,
I
especially
agree.
titles on the line. So,
It's also going to bring a lot more attention to jujitsu as a
yeah,
whole, which is massive. Like jujitsu's grown rapidly recently too, and now this is just going to fucking expedite it. It's going to be exponential. So
yeah,
I'm really excited for this. Also, last thing about that event, I know I said last thing like three times, but
it's
we
okay.
had a Hall of Fame induction. Mark Kerr is officially the last member of the 2025 UFC Hall of Fame,
Great pick.
and couldn't be a better time to induct him too, since Dwayne The Rock Johnson is playing him in the Smashing Machine movie. He's a two-time um
Yes.
UFC like tournament winner, heavyweight tournament winner, and the guy's a legend. The guy's an absolute stud. He's an absolute legend, and he belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, pioneer of the sport. One of the best in the UFC to never get a title, for sure.
He did. He won twice.
Oh, yeah,
But
true.
he was just before the modern era where they have the weight classes. He was just in the heavyweight tournament. He won that twice.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like it's a great. I'm excited for him to get his moment. A lot of great inductions for this year. And Alan, I believe you want to cover these events in particular. Oh,
Mhm.
actually, wait. Before that, before we get to the other events going on this weekend, we do have another breaking news here. So, Turkey Al Sheikh TKO Holdings, which owns UFC and WWE, Dana White, and a bunch of other promoters are coming together, and we are getting a massive massive boxing fight. We are getting
Hell yeah.
Saul Canelo Alvarez fighting Terrence Bud Crawford for the undisputed middleweight championship that Canelo holds. And folks, it's going to be on Netflix. It's going to be on Netflix. And the reason why I'm very excited about this is because it is rumored that the UFC will actually be doing future events on Netflix. I don't know if you
I
knew.
hope so, bro. Their contract with ESPN expired recently, so now they're looking for new people to pick up that mantle. And I really, 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 really hope that it's Netflix so that it opens up the floor to even more people to become MMA fans. And I would love that. I've been having trouble with ESPN the past couple of times.
Yeah.
I haven't even been using StreamEast. I've been trying to use I've been trying to purchase the events on ESPN, and it's just like the payments just wouldn't go through, or there'd be some problems. So I really, really hope that that UFC moves to Netflix or Prime or Max or one of the big streamers. That would be a great move.
Yeah. And also, hopefully more cards are free. I mean, that's what I'm hoping too. I mean, the pay-per-views obviously are pay-per-views, but I'd like to see fight nights being free to watch on Netflix. I feel like that would definitely bring in a lot more eyes. As Alan said, would gain a whole new audience.
Yep.
I think it's going to be incredible if they do that. And now, Alan, I know you've been dying, and I could see it on your face, bro. You're dying, you're dying to get into these, Alan, but tell our folks what is happening this weekend in the kickboxing Muay Thai world with.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. I've just been pulling up both fight cards, so excuse me on that. But I pulled them up. This is gonna be insane. Okay. We have, let me just pull up the event card. Give me 1 second. Okay, so here we go. We have Glory 100. Okay. I believe this is Glory Kickboxing's 100th event. So, main event. Roll, please. We have the legend Rico Verhoeven versus fellow legend Artem Vakitov. Vakitov, who got a knockout, or did he get a knockout win, or did he get a decision win on Contender Series? I think it
Knockout.
was decision.
No, no, no.
Knockout.
Yeah.
In any case, he got a sick win on Contender Series. He has a win over Alex Pereira in Glory Kickboxing. So that's the main event. And then you have Tariq Babez facing Maslow Bojev for the light heavyweight world title. Then you got middleweight world title fight. I forget his first name. Donovan Weiss, I think you pronounce it, versus Boa Pea. Featherweight world title. You have Petch versus Trindade. And then you have every other fight on the card is part of the heavyweight 64-man heavyweight tournament. So you got Jamal Ben Sadiq fighting uh well, how the fuck? Sofian Laiduni.
I
Don't
don't.
know this dude. You dude? I have not heard of him before. But anyway, Jamal Ben Sadiq, big name. Then you have Cookie Tariq Cookie Osaro. You got you got so many big names. All right, I'm gonna fast forward and like skip through this. I like the big names. You got Osaro. You got Rajab Zadeh. Rajab Zadeh is probably the lightest heavyweight on their roster. He's a monster. Baram fucking it. Rajab Zadeh. He's from Azerbaijan. He's a fucking killer. Then you got, who else do you got? What are some other notable names? Let me just go through this.
Co-main event. Jumping in for a second. Co-main event. The opponent of Tariq Kabez is the former champion.
Fire. Fire. You have Azizpour versus Yanku, which is
Mm.
going to be a crazy fight. That's going to be the
Or is
second fight of the night. They're both good. They're both some of the heaviest fighters on this heavyweight roster. And unlike UFC, fuck. Unlike UFC, you don't have a weight limit for heavyweight.
Yeah.
All right. You got some crazy fights on this card, and I cannot fucking wait. This is on June 14th. So keep an eye out. It's gonna be insane. You want me to go into dirty boxing while you finish up?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Okay, okay, I got you. All right, next up, we got Dirty Boxing Championships number 2, DBX2. This is Mike Perry's promotion. You got some sick fights on this one too. You got former UFC heavyweight fighter. You got Jairzinho Rosenstruik fighting Juan. Not, I'm not sure. Is it Juan or is it? Did they replace? Did they replace Jairzinho's opponent?
I thought it was Devin Schwan.
I'm seeing flyers for somebody else.
Oh,
Cardoso.
yeah.
Okay, either Devin Schwan or Cardoso. We'll try to figure that out. You got Alex Caceres, former UFC featherweight, versus Saeed Kakramanov, also a former UFC fighter. Got uh, Alex Nicholson,
Mm-hmm. Big name.
former, yeah, big name, former PFL fighter, former, I think he was in the UFC at one point. You got Jessica Rose Clark fighting, also former UFC fighter. You got Phil Hawes versus Sasha Palatnikov,
Oh
two
my God.
former UFC fighters facing off against each other. Um, it's hard to see the rest of the card, but you got some big names on this card. A lot of former UFC fighters, and I'm excited for this. What are your thoughts?
I'm also very excited for this. The first event was amazing. I loved pretty much every fight. I was glued to the screen. It's
Hmm.
live and free on YouTube. Great promotion. Actually, something we kind of
Oh
did
shit.
we kind of dissed on him before, but John Jones is also a owner of this promotion.
Well, listen, it's not to talk shit about John Jones. I get no pleasure talking shit about John
Yeah, me
Jones.
neither,
But
but
when you hold up the whole heavyweight division, one of the historically like the crown jewel of the UFC, you just hold it up for what? For what? To protect your legacy, to remain the longest reigning champion. You're the longest reigning heavyweight champion with the fewest heavyweight fights.
yeah.
Okay. What does that add to your legacy? Just another fucking bullet point. Okay, cool. But you're pissing off a lot of the fans. So a lot of the fans are now inclined to say that you're not the best of all time just because you're holding the division up.
Mm-hmm.
Let the division go, and people will say that you're the GOAT. Just fucking stop teasing everybody.
No, I
Uh, the graphic, by the way, reloaded for DBX2. So we got some more fights. We got Francisco Trinaldo, another former UFC fighter. You got Solomon Renfro,
mm,
former PFL fighter. You got Luis Saldana,
mm.
former UFC fighter. You got who else? I think that's all the former UFC fighters and PFL fighters, but a lot of big names on this card. They scraped together a lot of really, really, really good fighters. I'm excited for this event.
I'm excited for it as well. And I'm going to shout out the other two events. Well, technically three, but so tonight we got the PFL semifinals coming on to you, and me and Alan discussed this before, but there's a great main event on the line. Jason Jackson, former Bellator welterweight champion, the man who beat Yaroslav Amosov, knocked him out. He is fighting undefeated 9-0 Thad Jean. They are both killers. It's going to be an interesting main event tonight. The prelims start at 8:30. The main card starts at 11. Also, some notable fighters on this card is the former PFL champion Movlid Kabulaev, the former PFL champion Jesus Pinedo, fighting in his trilogy against Gabriel Braga. So that's going to
They're
be
1-1.
1-1. And then we also got Logan Storley, former Bellator interim champion. He is
Mhm.
fighting a Japanese rising star in the semifinals. Then we also got Jeremy Kennedy and Adam Boric, two former Bellator featherweight title contenders.
Hmm.
So
Savages.
Savages,
Borix has a win over Aaron Pico, who's making his UFC debut.
yes.
Um, when's he making his UFC debut? Is it this upcoming
I think it's Abu
pay-per-view?
Dhabi. Yeah, no, Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi's what, 319?
No, it's not a pay-per-view. It's a fight night. Remember Robert
Oh,
Whitaker,
I thought he was making his debut on a pay-per-view, no?
Reiner de Ritter, Robert Whitaker co-main.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay. Fire.
yeah, and then another name on the card is Magomed Umalatov, who was the finalist in the PFL welterweight division tournament. So it's going to be a stacked card coming up tonight, 8:30 prelims, main card 11. Also, Bare Knuckle FC this weekend, BKFC Fight Night from the Mohegan Sun, Bellator former stomping grounds. And in the main event, we got two heavyweights going at it. We got former UFC fighter Parker Porter in the main event against Dillian Schleckler, who is a former heavyweight champion contender. And in the co-main event, we got Alan's boy, Jorgen De Castro, and he is fighting Josh Watson. I am very excited for that one. That's going to be a
Me too.
fight.
Jorgen by knockout, always.
By knockout, definitely.
Never count out the Mad Titan.
Jorgen,
Always support.
Jorgen definitely is going to get the knockout. Another interesting fight on this card. Brennan Ward will be fighting. He is a former
Damn.
Bellator fighter, very well-rounded. Excited to see him in the mix here. And then our final thing for this weekend is MSG. A huge boxing fight is going down. Richard Hitchens, the IBF junior welterweight champion, will be defending his belt against George Kambosos Jr.
Oh, that's a big fight.
Yeah, big fight. Going to be Saturday night alongside the UFC event. Going to be a good show. Folks, there's a lot of good events upcoming this weekend, but they don't really pale in comparison to UFC, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
Nothing compares to the UFC.
oh, nothing at all, bro. But Alan, so shall we break down our main event?
UFC Atlanta?
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah, let's get right into it. The reason you guys tuned in instead of all these ads for these other events, even though they're going to be sick. Let's
Should
break it down.
we do bottom top or top bottom?
Top bottom. Let's go top bottom.
I bet. So, Alan, we got the former UFC, a dominant former UFC welterweight champion, Kamaru Usman, is making his return to the welterweight division. He formerly fought at middleweight against Hamzat Chimaev. And he is fighting the streaking Joaquin Buckley, the same Joaquin Buckley who got that viral ass knockout that I can never get out of my head because of how crazy it was.
hmm
And he's been on the street. He knocked out Wonder Boy. He knocked out Colby Covington. He beat Nursultan Ruzaboyev by decision.
Knocked out Vicente Luque.
Knocked out Vicente Luque. I mean, in my opinion for this fight, Alan, I love Kamaru, but I think Joaquin is going to overwhelm him. That's just my opinion.
Never doubt the buck. Joaquin Buckley is a fucking monster, and he's obviously coming into his own. If you knock out Covington, if you knock out Wonder Boy, I'm gonna say this though. Recently, Buckley's been fighting a lot of older fighters. So I hope, and like I really like Usman, but I hope Buckley wins and we can see him against some younger competition because that, in my opinion, is far more interesting. I want to see him against the young guys. I want to see him against the JDMs. I want to see him against the Michael Moraleses. I want to see him against Ian Gary. I want to see him against the Shavkat. I want to see him against the younger guys in the division to see, is he just more hungry than these older guys? Does he just like want what they got? Or technically is he better? Is he better in terms of his strategy and tactics? Be a good
Uh,
fighter, you can't just be hungry. You got to be smart with it. John
no.
Jones proved that. And so, since we were just shitting on John Jones the whole time, he proved you have to be smart with it. And Buckley has been very smart with it.
Yeah. So is
And
he your
he's
prediction?
um yeah, I'm going Buckley. I'm going Buckley by knockout, to be honest with you. It's
I
a
think it's gonna be
five-round fight.
third round.
Third round. I think it's very I think just he's gonna have way more pop in his punches than Usman. Usman's knees are bad. Buckley's everything is healthy, you know. Buckley like seemingly has no health issues. He's not injured. He's as game as ever. Mentally, he's locked the fuck in. And I just see Buckley just walking away with the finish.
Yeah, no, I definitely see that as well. I definitely think that's going to be the outcome. Joaquin Buckley is definitely my pick as well for this main event. I have to say though, the co-main event is just as exciting. I'm kind of pissed they didn't make it 5 rounds, like to be honest.
Rose Namajunas versus Miranda Maverick.
Yeah, that's a main event. That in my opinion, that's a main event in itself. Rose Namajunas is the former champion. I'm walking away for a second because my nose is
Mm,
fucking annoying. Sorry, folks. But Rose Namajunas is the former
unforgivable.
Rose Namajunas is the former champion at two-time strawweight champion. She's had a lot of good fights at flyweight. Miranda Maverick is a killer in the octagon, young and hungry. I mean, this is going to be a great fight, but I already know how it's going to go.
You think so?
Rose Namajunas. I think she's still got that dog in her. I think she's gonna.
Interesting.
You disagree?
Give us your catchphrase real quick.
Okay, it is that
Give
time.
us a catchphrase. We need it. No, we need it. We need it for this one.
Disagree. You know the fight's gonna be good, and you better damn not miss it. I'm gonna add
That's
that
right.
catchphrase. Yeah.
That part probably needs a little bit of work, but it's okay. Miranda Maverick by I'm not gonna say by KO, but I'm gonna say Miranda Maverick.
Okay, by decision. Yeah, I think it's 3 rounds. So
Yeah, by decision is most likely, which is mad funny too. Mad funny. I was okay, so back to the UFC 316. My brother was asking me for some tips on the female fights, like how to bet. I was like, bro, 60 statistically speaking, 66% of female fights end up going the distance. The first two female fights of the night, they go to the distance. We get to the co-main event. Kayla Harrison versus Juliana Pena. I tell him to take the over because that's probably also going to go the distance. And that fight was a finish. So that statistic proves to be true. Two out of three female fights end up in decision. But anyway, yeah, I think that's one of those. I think that's one of those fights that's probably going to go the distance. But
yeah.
I'll also say this: if Miranda Maverick also has some crazy elbows and some ground and pound ability, he can land an elbow or two on Rose. I think she can get the doctor's stoppage in round two or three.
Possible, but probably highly unlikely in my opinion. I don't think you can finish Rose like that, but that's just me. I mean, from what I've seen with Rose Namajunas, but yeah, that's our call.
Right, but also like how old is she?
Like mid-30s, I think.
32. Miranda Maverick is
You know,
27.
she's in her prime. So like I mean it's not and
I
right
don't think so. I don't think you're in your prime. Look, if you really want to get down to the nitty-gritty of like when a prime is, on average, the heavier the weight class, the later your prime. He's fighting at 125 right now.
true, true.
Her prime, her prime, in my opinion, was when she had the Joanna Jędrzejczyk fights and when she had the Zhang Weili fights. That was her prime.
I guess, but I don't know. I can't see Miranda Maverick winning. I guess we'll have to see tomorrow who
Yeah,
gets
but Manon Fior beat her, right?
that win. I think it's Rose Namajunas. She is minus 235.
What streak is she on right now? What streak is Rose Namajunas on? Her last fight was against who? Manon Fior, Aaron Blanchfield. Aaron Blanchfield beat her. She beat Tracy Cortez. She
Five
beat
rounds.
Amanda Ribas.
All,
Lost to Manon Fior.
all 5 rounds.
Okay, but I'm just gonna say this: she lost to Aaron Blanchfield. She lost to Manon Fior. Two of the best in this weight class, right? Miranda Maverick is right up there with those two women. So I don't know how this fight really goes.
I
I
don't
can
know.
see it going either way. I think it's really close, but I'm leaning more towards Miranda Maverick.
Okay, so folks, you know my catchphrase. You don't want to miss this fight or you're a loser. But yeah,
That's not your catchphrase. What are you talking about?
I don't know. It's a catchphrase in the making. But
It needs some work, but it's okay. We'll help you get there.
But
We'll
Alan,
we'll help you flesh it out.
this featured fight though, it's kind of an interesting one. It's actually a clash of styles, in my opinion. Edmund Shabazian, the former rising star knockout artist, is facing Andre Petroski, who's a ground specialist. This will definitely be a clash of styles. In that same regard, though, I'm thinking Edmund by knockout.
I agree with you, bro. Petrosky is like striking is just really bad, to be honest with you. Like, no, again, I can say no disrespect all I want, and then like if fighters hear this, they might get upset. Petrosky's stand-up needs a lot of work. He has a lot of holes in his stand-up. He's not nearly active enough on the feet. His footwork is very planted. I guess maybe that's to take shots. Um, his hands don't move enough. He doesn't punch enough. He like tries to throw one shot at a time. He's really good on the ground though. So if he gets Edmund Shabazian down, Shabazian is done. But in my opinion, obviously. But Edmund Shabazian grew up. He's trained he trained judo and grappling, other grappling sports with Ronda Rousey and team. So it's not like he doesn't know how to grapple, but Petrosky is just really fucking good there. In terms of striking, Edmund Shabazian is really good too. So I'm agreeing with you. I think Edmund Shabazian by knockout. I think he catches Andre Petrosky coming in with like a knee or something.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think actually that's exactly what I thought as well. So now it's the opposite, guys. Me and Alan have clear this clearly the same pick. That does not
Yeah, which means it's going to be a garbage fight. No, don't tune in. Turn your TV off. Go take a bathroom break. We'll watch the fights for you.
uh no, it's definitely still going to be a good fight. There's a reason
No,
it's
for sure.
fight of the night. But Alan, this next fight
Mm.
really has my eyes really glued. We got Raoni Barcelos, who just beat Peyton Talbot, and he is fighting the former bantamweight champion Cody Garbrandt.
Mhm.
I know the it's not favoring Cody, but Cody is faster than Raoni, unless you think that Raoni is going to beat Cody Garbrandt.
Only by decision,
You
if
think
not by submission.
you think submission or okay, I think you're kind of right. The fan in me is hoping Cody wins, but yeah, Barcelos will probably win by decision.
Barcelos has a slight reach advantage. Although he's 5 years older, he's a much better wrestler. He was like an Olympic level wrestler from Brazil. I'm going Barcelos by decision. I don't
So
even think this one is like that crazy to me. I don't I don't understand why Cody Garbrandt took this fight, to be honest with you. I think Raoni Barcelos is just gonna wrestle fuck him, and that's gonna be the whole fight.
yeah, uh, no, yeah, I agree with you on that. So now,
Next fight.
yeah, next fight is gonna be uh
Mansoor Abdul Malik versus Cody Brundage.
versus Cody Brundage. Alan, I feel like we know how this is gonna go.
Mansoor Abdul Malik by knockout is most probable, I think.
I think it's gonna be severe knockout first round.
Maybe you can't discount Cody Brundage. He was Bo Nickal' toughest fight until he fought Rainier the Ritter. So you can't count him out. But with that said, Mansoor Abdul Malik has that crazy knockout power. So
Yeah,
you gotta be very careful with him. Cody Brundage has what it takes to beat Mansoor, but will
yeah.
he utilize it? I don't know.
Also, yeah, no, I completely agree with you on there. Mansoor will probably, sorry, Cody, but slaughter him. But Al Alonzo Menafield is next, and he's fighting Umar C. I think that I'm gonna be honest, they're kind of disrespecting Alonzo a little bit, especially after his last performance against Billy Elikana. I mean,
Mm,
I think Alonzo has the ability to beat his undefeated record.
I
Personally,
agree.
I think I have Alonzo Menafield in this fight personally.
I do not. I have Omar C. Undefeated prospect, 11-0. Knockout artist. I'm going to Omar C.
Okay. So now you know it's a good fight, guys.
Hmm.
And then we also got
Holy fuck! What a prelim card. So many prelims.
Yeah,
Blessings.
prelims are stacked, honestly. But yeah,
They
Paul
are.
Craig, Adolfo Bellato. We kind of went over our predictions for this in a
Hmm.
previous card. We believe that Paul Craig will turn out and win this fight. But Adolfo Bellato's power is not to be underestimated.
Yeah, you got an 8 year age gap here. Same height, basically same reach. Paul Craig has the experience advantage, and I think he has everything necessary to beat Rodolfo Bellato. That said, if Rodolfo Bellato touches that chin, Paul Craig is going to take a long nap.
Yeah. So we're kind of on our same stance as before. We
Yeah. Paul Craig, I think, has everything it takes to win. I think he's going to win, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, me too. I think it's definitely going to happen. Great fight. It was supposed to happen before, but it had to get rebooked. Uh,
Hmm.
then we also got Michael Chiesa and Court McGee. These are two veterans of the game. I do believe Michael Chiesa, who isn't a heavy favorite, is going to win this fight. I mean,
Agreed.
he's been in some scraps, some main events. I still remember that victory over Neil Magny. That was a pretty good one,
Hmm.
5 rounds, I believe.
I
Uh,
think so.
so I think Michael Chiesa will probably win that. And also, Michael Chiesa is a commentator. He literally commentates every fight. I don't know about you.
Agreed.
That definitely plays into his experience of what he's seen. So,
Nah, I think that's all bullshit. Unless you're fighting somebody that doesn't count as experience. You can watch whatever the fuck fights you want. Unless you're in there, it's not experience.
true.
I have Michael Chiesa by submission, but I would not be surprised if McGee just outgritted him and won by decision.
True. I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Alan, what do you think?
Next fight, I'm super excited about.
Holy shit, I don't. Okay, this is a little bit disrespectful, but Malcolm Wellmaker is minus 2,500. What?
Minus 2,500? What the fuck?
On ESPN, he's minus 2,500 again.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Shit.
I'm hammering Chris Mutino.
I
No
mean,
Diddy, happy Pride Month, but I'm hammering Chris Mutino.
Chris Moutinho
I
is a dog. I mean,
he
Sean Lee couldn't even knock this fucker out. He had to have
bro,
the fight.
Chris Mutino is a dog. He's been on a winning streak ever since they booted him from the UFC. He took a fight with Sean O'Malley. Okay, he lost to Marab twice, but everybody loses to Marab. Umar fucking Nurmagomedov lost to Marab. Chris Moutinho, he he's got a chin made of something else. He definitely has CTE at this point, but there's
Well,
one thing he's good at, it's fighting. And I think it's a little bit disrespectful to have Malcolm Wellmaker be a minus 2,500 favorite. I think Chris Mutino is way more live of an underdog than fucking, what is that, plus 1,200, let's say, plus 1,500
I don't
for him?
know.
Huh?
Moutino's plus 900. I don't even think
Yeah,
that.
plus 900 is super disrespectful. I'm
Yeah.
taking that. Wellmaker obviously is the favorite because he's got a knockout win in the
Knockout.
UFC, but
I don't think that's going to be replicated against Chris Moutino. I think
yeah, I
Chris
just don't see how you do that against Chris Moutinho's iron chin.
definitely not going to happen. Chris Moutino is probably going to win that fight in our opinion. So
Yeah.
honestly, fuck you, Vegas. You got this one wrong. You disrespected Chris Moutino. Eat shit for that. Uh,
Yeah, you tell Vegas, especially after that Waldo Acosta Cortez bullshit.
yeah, true, true, true. And then next fight, Alan, we got Cody Durden making his return in the flyweight division, and he is fighting a former undefeated Jose Ochoa, whose only loss was to Ian Kavanagh. So, I'm going to be honest, Cody Durden is a very good fighter. I still think Jose Ochoa is going to beat him because Jose Ochoa
You
made
mean Lana Kavanaugh?
yeah, Jose Ochoa
Okay.
lost to Conor Kavanagh. Uh,
Okay.
I think he's going to make the comeback and he's going to win this fight because that
Over Durden?
yeah.
I disagree. I
You-
think Durden wins by decision.
Okay. So I guess
Lana Kavanaugh's a dog, yeah, but Cody Durden, like, he's a really good wrestler. To be fair, I haven't seen too much of Jose Ochoa, but I will say Durden, he talks a lot of shit, but he's like tough, he's gritty, he doesn't give up on himself. He's a very good wrestler. So I'm going with Cody Durden by decision.
yeah, I agree with that
Mhm.
possibly. I guess we'll have to see. But this next fight, though, Ricky Simone. Ricky Simone made me very happy when he knocked out Barashot. That was crazy. And
You
he,
mean Fareed Basharat?
yeah, I know there's two. That's why I said that. But
Yeah.
and he is fighting Cameron Smotherman. I'm gonna
Let's just not forget that Ricky Simone put Merab Dvalishvili to sleep and has a win over him.
Yes, we can't forget that. And also, Cameron Smotherman wasn't really the best in his last fight. Uh, yeah, I mean, Ricky Simone's a minus 600, which I think is warranted in this case.
I
I
agree with you completely.
I got Ricky Simone. I think Ricky Simone by whatever the fuck he wants, to be honest.
Honestly, heavy in the hands. His grappling is insane. He's built like a fucking Dorito, super crazy V-taper. One of the most underrated physiques in the UFC. Also, one of the most underrated fighting styles in the UFC. I'm going Ricky Simone under 2.5 rounds.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there. I think he can knock him the fuck out after what he did to Farid Basharat. But
Yeah. Oh, one of my favorite fighters in the UFC is back.
Ro is back in the octagon and he is fighting Ange Lusa. This is a close fight on the odds, but I'm gonna be honest, I kind of got Phil Rowe on this one.
I got Phil Rowe by knockout or whatever. I got Phil Rowe by whatever the
Whatever
fuck
the
he
fuck he
wants.
wants.
Phil Rowe is gangster. He is game. Although
Yeah,
he has 15 MMA fights on his record professionally. He takes fights against everybody. He takes fights against Craig Jones in jiu-jitsu. He has a
yeah,
match over Gordon Ryan. Even though he
he's a
lost,
boss.
like, huh?
He's a fucking boss.
He's a boss. He's a gamer. He likes to be active, and I think he's got way more heart than respectful. Nah, fuck it. I think he got way more heart than Angelusa. Angelusa, he fought. Who'd he fight? Brian Battle. Bro, he quit against Brian Battle.
Yeah.
They made it a no contest. Brian Battle clearly won the fight, and then he started fighting Brian Battle after the horn. Fuck that. I think Phil Rowe puts him away.
Yeah, I think Phil Rowe puts him away too. And then also, our I believe Vanessa Demopoulos is not fighting in anymore. I believe it is Teresa Bleda who's fighting now, Jamie Lynn Horth in the
Oh.
opener. But
Hmm.
I think that'll be a good women's fight. Both are hungry, up and coming. So I would definitely pay attention to that one. I'm gonna be completely honest, as opposed to these other fights, I'm not really too familiar with these two, but
I
yeah.
don't know. On the UFC's website, it says Jamie Lynn Horth versus Vanessa Demopoulos. Uh, oh, I don't know. I didn't see the news about Vanessa Demopoulos being out. If Vanessa Demopoulos is out, then I don't really know either one of the fighters. But Jamie Lynn Horth is or was a minus 600 favorite against the Vanessa Demopoulos. So that speaks to what Vegas thinks of her abilities.
But then again, Vegas, Waldo Cortez Acosta, so we can't really be too fucking
Yeah, but just because that decision was obviously fucked up, like does not mean that Vegas is always wrong.
yeah, no, you're right. But yeah, that's our full card for this weekend. I mean, we also shouted out all the other events, Alan. I mean, great card. As we said before,
Yeah.
the prelims are stacked.
Yep.
I'm honestly excited. Also, guys, don't forget tonight we got PFL. Tonight's PFL. We got some events tomorrow. Obviously, most of them on Saturday. And yeah, so
And don't forget, John Jones is the greatest fighter of all time. This message is brought to you by Dana White.
agreed. He's holding up the division. Yeah, but I agree. But yeah, so follow us on Instagram, Combat Sports Report. Also, sub to our YouTube. We're gonna have lots of fighter interviews coming out on there. We're gonna have lots of more content. And yeah, Alan, you got anything else?
Nah, we should probably change the name of the podcast to like Z Sports or some shit like that.
Well,
Saying combat sports, it's probably gonna take people a while to get used to. We got to think about this. We got to think about this. But whatever the name of the podcast ends up being long term, this has been the Combat Sports Report podcast today. And thank you guys for tuning in. We love you, and we'll see you after UFC Atlanta to break that down. So tune in for that. Subscribe, follow us on YouTube, LinkedIn, fucking MySpace, whatever the fuck you want. And we'll see you next time. Peace.